Alright, hello YouTube, Otaku Kurosaki again, with the Hero World, the last and final deck of the Golden Buddy Champion box. We've got Hero World's J Genesis and gemclonr. Gemclonr, the deck, as you may not know, uses... the only monster it uses ever are impact monsters. And you can use as many as you want with a certain impact monster. So let's get into the deck. You have 4 copies of gemclonr to go with the buddy copy. So he doesn't have a call cost, but you can use any impact monster, even if they're not from Hero World. And during final phase, and it's on the field, pay 1 gauge, call an impact monster without gemclonr in its card name from your hand without paying its call cost on top of gemclonr. Very useful for the whole finishing off the opponent quickly strategy. Next, one of our key cards in the deck, probably the best one if you don't count gemclonr, Revolutionary Zeta. You can impact transform it by paying 2 gauge. Normally you pay 3 gauge to call it. If you have transformed into it, it cannot be destroyed nor returned to hand. Then you cannot call up monsters other than impact monsters, and you may call impact monsters any number of times in 1 turn. So, normally you'd only be able to impact call once per game. Well, not once per game, but once per turn. But he takes away that limit. Double Fake Lord, Riddle Phantom. It's simple, call cost, pay 3 gauge, put a monster from your field into his soul, has double attack, soul guard, and lifelink 2. Useful for if you need to defend with something, because it's 9/2/8. Next for the fake monsters, Fake Black Abigail. Pay 2 costs and destroy a monster on your field. When an attack by this card destroys your opponent's monster, put the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck into his or her drop zone and deal 3 damage. When its attack is nullified, deal 1 damage. Useful for the whole final phase with the gemclonr out. Next, Fake the Sun Ball Dragon. Pay 2 gauge, put a monster from your field into your gauge. Your equipped items get critical +1, so he powers up Zeta pretty much. And he's got Penetrate. Next, double Fake Dragonr Jackknife. So, pretty much call it by paying 2 gauge and put a monster in your field into its soul. When it enters the field, put a size 3 monster from your drop zone into your hand. It's good for calling the creatures you lost in battle, or just by doing the size limit and all that with gemclonr. So, Fake Knight Legion. Pay 3 gauge and put a monster from your field into your drop zone. When it enters the field, if you have an item equipped, destroy a monster on your opponent's field. When he attacks for this turn, it gets critical +1 for each different impact monster in your drop zone, which is very good for that whole final attack.
And all 14.
Next, we've got your standard demons you want to call in the first turn. Flame Demon Elytron. When he enters the field, destroy a monster on the center.
When he's dealt damage.
At the end of your turn, destroy this card. And Water Demon
You're right.
Kinoids. When this card enters the field, put a soul card on your opponent's field into his or her drop zone. And he dies at the end of the turn.
No.
Both are good for the
Whenever this card is
beginning
dealt
of your rush
damage- Actually, it says
style. Next up, for the rest of the monsters,
Take 22.
2 gemclonr variable bit. Basically, it works the same as regular gemclonr, but
Still alive.
for 2 gauge.
Hit you for 600.
Prevents it all for the whole time.
All damage.
If it's in the soul of an impact monster that would leave the field, you may put this card into the drop zone, and that card stays on the field. Almost half of a little more than half of these already have soul guard. So,
Yep.
you get also 4 copies of I've Seen Through Your Moves, an alternate artwork that looks really good.
30 now.
Next, Triple Hyper Energy. Another alternate art that puts the top 4 cards of your deck into your gauge. Oh, yeah. So next to Armored Talisman, Banish Road. You may only cast this card during your final phase, and if you have Zeta on your field, put an impact monster on your field into your drop zone, and call an impact monster from your drop zone by paying its call cost. Good for getting out that another Zeta from the drop zone onto your field.
Oh, him.
Next, 0 damage. It's your equivalent to... Wasn't there a Dragon Shield that shut down all damage?
I mean, they got it, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. Either way, it's a good card. Negates every point of damage during an attack. Next up would be Triple 3 gauge. The name says it all. It gives you guess it, 3 gauge. Double. It's about time I get serious. It's your clone to something. I can't think of it right now. But pay 1 gauge to draw 2 cards, but you can only cast it with 6 life or less.
I'm sorry, but we do not use 8. Okay, well,
Next, Triple 2 draw. Pay 1 gauge, and you get to draw 2 cards. Finally, 4, find Joker. I don't see no Joker, but I am one. So, when you cast this, you can search your deck for an impact monster with Zeta or gemclonr in its card name, and add it to hand. So it's good for searching out gemclonr or Zeta if you don't have it in first hand, but you have this. Alright, so that is the end of the Golden Buddy Champion Box and the review on Jade Genesis, his personal deck. Hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, because I've sure as heck forgotten to say it in the past few times. And I'll see you guys next time.